Well, if we're smelling something that smells lovely, it must be Ashley. And I am not helping nobody. Alright, Jiho. Joking about Star Wars like we do. Okay, there's Ashley again, Danny. Oh. Alright, we'll go back and talk to Peggy.
I was in the library working on some computer problems when suddenly Peggy ran up to me.
Flynn! You have to help me! I was catching up on my homework and I lost track of time and I had these chem exercises and I need the reference book for them and it's an hourly checkout and I'm not done and...
I could barely follow what she was saying when she started talking this quickly.
The rules say the same person can't renew a reference because if they did, they could hog it. And I don't mean to hog it, but I'm not done, and can you please go check this out on your card?
I paused for a moment while my brain caught up with all of that. I'm not sure that's a good idea. There's usually a waiting list for reference books. If I take it back to the counter, it'll just go to the next person who requested it. Her face fell.
But I'm not done!
So keep it until you're done and then return it. You only need another hour, right? The fine won't be that big. Or, actually, if you know what pages you need, maybe you should just photocopy them. Then you can take the book back for the next person. She looked even more distraught, and I tried to figure out my mistake. I guess photocopies are wasting paper, but you can recycle them, right?
I don't have any money with me.
Oh. I reflexively patted my pockets, but I didn't really have much to spare, considering. Here. Whoa, Ninja Mark! Where did he come from? He handed a copy card to Peggy. Get what you need, then bring it back. Without even waiting for a response, he turned and walked back towards the philosophy section.
Huh. He's not so bad sometimes. I think you mean all the time. There's James. And we're leaving Ashley to our own devices this time around. I'm not interested, Aussie. Okay. We should get some choices with this Peggy scene coming up finally. But there was this time in sixth form.
Oh, here we go. At Peggy's words, everyone in the room became intensely focused on the meal Ashley had prepared for us. Peggy didn't seem to notice the disinterest.
Stephanie was on and on about how she had this horse back at the manor. Seriously, she said it like that, the manor, and a saddle with diamonds on it. And we thought she was a right twat, as anybody else probably would, but then her parents actually brought her horse around and it really did have a diamond saddle. Titchy little ones like you'd see on a handbag, right? Either diamonds or rhinestones, but her family was proper flush, so I think it really was diamonds. Totally bling. And then this other girl, Donna? I can't remember, tried to nick it. Not the saddle, the entire horse. She got on when no one was looking and just rode off. Of course, she got herself nicked then, and the fuss brought her back crying all over the place. God, she was the worst. I remember one time she caught on to a boy named Alexander who was dating another girl in the form. Peggy!
I jumped. Peggy stared wide-eyed at Aussie, who had slammed her fist onto the table. I'm sick of hearing about your sixth form. Do you think any of us care? We don't know these people. We will never know these people. We do not care about these people. Most of these stories aren't even interesting.
The diamond saddle was a little interesting.
Oh, so she's 1 for 12. Let's give her a round of applause. Aussie glared at Ashley, who looked away. I swear, if I ever have to hear about your sixth form again, I'll smack you across the face. Learn to read the room. Maybe if you did, you wouldn't be so bloody annoying. Finished with her tirade, Aussie grabbed herself another helping of noodles, then took her plate and left the room.
Boy, that was mean, wasn't it?
Peggy laughed nervously and we avoided her eyes.
Wasn't it? She was out of line, wasn't she?
A stiff silence met her question. After a few seconds, Ashley squeaked up.
She was definitely a little harsh, if you ask me.
Right. Peggy fiddled with her fork for the rest of the meal, which didn't last very long. Suddenly, everyone grew ravenous and finished their food in moments, at which point they hastily shuffled out of the room. Finally, it was just Peggy and me, which was partly because I was a terribly slow eater.
Hey, Flynn.
Yes, Peggy?
Am I annoying?
A little, but I like you anyway. Peggy winced.
Ouch. Wait, really? You do?
Of course. Screw them. Maybe they don't like it, but you don't have to go around pleasing everybody. If you like the way you are, that's what's most important. Do you? Oops. Peggy seems so tough and determined. I never really thought of her as insecure. Okay, but are the reasons you don't like yourself legitimate, or are you just being mean? I'm guessing you're being mean. You're kind, smart, energetic, passionate, and all about saving and protecting people. You've got nothing to feel bad about. Sure, maybe you talk a lot sometimes, but I talk too little, so we balance each other out, right? She beamed at me.
Maybe we're both wrong.
She didn't seem upset anymore, at least. Peggy gathered up her things.
I should go. Thanks, Flynn.
She took her plate to the sink, a thoughtful smile on her face. I guess she'd still think the situation over, and maybe she would make some changes. But at least if she did, she would make them because she wanted to make them, not because Aussie told her to. Looks like I did good.
High five, Flynn. Pat yourself on the back. Sorry, Gihio, not this time. And I'll let you go, Danny. And now it's time to pursue Peggy. Alright, let's get into it.
I really wasn't sure where things stood with me and Peggy. We were friends, sure, and she turned to me for help sometimes. But was she interested? It seemed most likely that she wasn't. I had seen the way she looked at Danny sometimes when the group was together. Compared to Danny, I was a pretty poor imitation of manhood.
Oh, Flynn! Dang.
But did that mean it was hopeless? I came here to England to take chances, to be less of a coward about talking to people, to try things, even if they might not work out. What was the worst that could happen? She got creeped out and avoided me for the rest of the semester? Well, that would kinda suck, but it would only be a few months. I could survive. And that was the worst case. It probably wouldn't happen like that. More likely, what would happen would be... Someone knocked on my door.
Hey, Flynn, you in there?
I opened the door.
Flynn, are you busy?
Not exactly.
Great, come with me.
What? Where?
All right. See, some of my mates have a band. Think I told you about it before, called Rattleprams. And they have a gig at a club tonight, and I promised I'd go, so I was hoping you'd come with. Please?
Sure. Maybe it would be better to talk about a relationship afterwards. I didn't want to spoil her plans. For some reason, I was expecting a coffee house and an angry, short-haired woman with a guitar. That was not what I got. What kind of music is this?
It's called sludge!
What?
Sludge metal! It's a kind of heavy metal punk fusion!
Any other questions I might have had turned out to be useless because she couldn't hear me over the growling bass and the screaming singer.
Amazing.
After the show was over, we took the tube back to the hostel. Peggy, I wanted to...
What? Sorry, can't hear you. My ears are still ringing. I'll catch up with you next week, okay, Flynn? I'm going home to see my folks for spring break.
At this rate, I'd be back in America before I could even find out how she felt about me.
You gotta just tie her down for a second so you can talk. Let's exercise. We're back. It's time for the actual confession time. Water of courage. Okay.
On Sunday, Peggy returned to the hostel.
Hello, everybody!
Since I was the only one outside, no one else reacted to that. Hi, Peggy. How was your trip?
Ace, my mom was made up to see me, and she washed all my clothes, too.
I looked down at the bulging bags Peggy was carrying. Did she take all her clothing home? You, have done laundry while you've been living here, right?
When would I have time? Besides, dryers are bad for the environment. My mom's got a clothesline in the garden. That's the way to do it. Speaking of, I've got to get these in quick snap and look at my books. I've got chem first thing tomorrow morning, and
Wait!
What is it?
Can we talk?
Are we not talking now?
I meant about things. Personal things. She just blinked at me. Look, are you seeing anyone?
No.
Would you like to be?
Huh? Oh! Flynn, you...
She set down her suitcases.
I never really thought about you like that. I had no idea that you...
I don't know how I feel either.
You don't?
Well, I'm not saying I'm in love with you or anything crazy like that. I like you. I'd like to go on a date with you and see what happens. I know I'm not really your type.
Yeah. Not that you're a bad type.
Well, I hope not.
Dang. She didn't even deny it. She's like, no, you're not my type.
She laughed, but it sounded more nervous than amused.
I really do need to get my bags in and go over my assignments.
I know. And I know you're really busy with all your classes and your hobbies and your causes and everything. But do you think you could find a little time for us? Just to see?
I feel bad. I really can't this week. I'm so sorry. I'm way behind. I've been slacking off and
She looked like she was about to burst into tears. I hastened to reassure her. Then how about next week? It's not like I'm going anywhere.
Okay.
She looked at me like she wanted to say something else, then blushed and hurried into the hostel. Yes, I had a date. Sort of.
Winky face for the win. I still love that face. Okay. Oh my. It's time for the first date.
Someone was banging on my door.
Come on, Flynn, let's get going.
Where? Oh, right, our date. Peggy had finally managed to find some time to spend with me, alone, outside the hostel. Of course, being Peggy, she'd gotten overwhelmed with enthusiasm for an idea.
Ah!
A small body crashed into mine, and I started dancing on the ice, trying desperately not to fall. And then we were both on the ice, me rubbing my rear and Peggy across my stomach.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
It's fine. Ugh, that really hurt. But only for a moment. I grinned and helped her off of me, then slowly and carefully rose to my own feet. Go more slowly this time, okay? I'm surprised you've never skated before, though. You seem like you'd try anything once.
That's what I'm doing now, aren't I? But ice skating always seemed like the kind of thing for tiny fairy princesses did. Not that fairy princesses are bad, it's just that I never really fit in with that kind of image.
She laughed somewhat self-consciously.
I mean, I'm loud and obnoxious. We've covered that before.
You know, you can fit whatever image you want. I almost feel like you fit the fairy princess image better because you are the way you are. You think a tiny little fairy is gonna be all demure and whatnot? Heck no! Fairies can fly, and dive bomb like wasps. Tiny little things can be vicious. Probably break into your house and steal your silver and your underwear too.
That's boggarts, not fairies.
And a fairy princess of all things. She'd be busy running the world, looking after all her subjects, traveling to all corners, yelling at her idiot minions and demanding respect. Like you. So don't worry about that. Peggy blushed and then her eyes got really shiny.
Really? Do you think so?
You're not gonna cry, are you?
No, I'm not!
You're totally crying. That was not what I wanted to achieve on this date. She wiped her eyes, giggling.
Never mind then. Let's get back to having fun.
She kicked off hard and...
Ow!
Not again. After we finished skating, we sat down for drinks and snacks. Peggy kept spontaneously giggling, but every time I asked her what she was giggling at, she rolled her eyes or looked away. On the next batch of giggles, I felt a little annoyed. Stop it! What exactly is so funny? Do I have something on my face? What is it?
No! You're just... It's hard to explain. You're just being you. I keep thinking, that's such a Flynn thing to do.
I glared at her, and she giggled even more. So, you think you know me, do you?
Maybe. Well enough for this, at least.
She leaned over the table and gave me a quick kiss. Ugh. Unfortunately, I was so startled that my knee bumped the table and knocked my drink over.
Oh, bugger!
Sorry, that was my fault. We both scrambled for napkins to clean up the spill and banged our heads into each other in the process. I couldn't help laughing. That is such a Peggy thing to do.
Hey!
I giggled again and she pouted, then relaxed.
So, is this okay?
What?
Us? Dating?
Seems pretty okay to me. Is it okay for you?
Yes.
Good.
Alright. She's gonna hold that ice skating thing against you one day, though.
Peggy popped her head in through the door.
Hey, Flynn! Have you seen my volleyball? I can't find it anywhere and I need it for practice.
I glanced at the clock. It was 10 in the evening. You need to practice at this hour?
When else do you expect me to do it? I have class and work and club activities, and I'm trying to form a green commission at the university, but nobody's taking me seriously, so if I want to do justice to the team,
Right. Well, I haven't seen it.
Bloody hell! You were the last person I had to ask. So what, it's just vanished? That doesn't make any sense. Last I saw it, I put it away in my closet last night after practice.
How exactly do you practice in your room anyway? You can't fit a volleyball net in there. Although she had certainly tried once.
First, I hit it up in the air, then I headbutted for a while. Last but not least, 30 minutes of striking practice against the far wall.
It wasn't a mystery why someone would want the ball to vanish, then. I'll leave you to it, but if I find it, I'll let you know, okay?
Oh, fine. Thanks anyways. Hi again.
I ran into Peggy in the hall. Hi, did you want to...
Sorry, no time!
She ran past me to the stairs without even pausing. Moments later, I heard her clomping back up the staircase.
Sorry, hi, hope you're having a good day. I have to go buy a new volleyball. I don't have time to look for mine anymore.
I could come with you.
Too distracting.
She kissed me on the cheek, then thumped down the stairs again.
Bye, Flynn!
Even now that we were officially dating, it was hard to get much time alone with her.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes indeed. Man, days are flying. Oh, there's G here screaming. Oh. Oh, hey! It's that time!
I was up late one night in my room, catching up on some reading, when I heard a timid knock on the door. Who would be coming by my room this late? Peggy, is that you?
Yes, Flynn, it's me.
I frowned. She sounded strange. Was something wrong? Come on in. The doorknob slowly turned and the door gradually opened to reveal Peggy draped against my door frame. She raised her eyebrows at me.
Hello.
Hello? Is everything okay? She left the doorway, slowly walking towards me in a weird way, sort of swaying like she was on a tightrope and trying to keep her balance. Was she drunk? Peggy, what's going on?
Shh. I've come to make your fantasies come true.
I stood up from my chair and she shoved me back onto my bed. Peggy?
No, don't talk. You'll ruin the moment.
To my surprise, she turned around and started dancing. To absolutely no music whatsoever. Her movements were smooth but lacked rhythm, and... was she trying to seduce me? Is that what was happening? Peggy, you don't need to do this.
Shush!
She seemed actually irritated now. Her face was starting to turn red.
I'll play along this time.
Well, this seemed to be what she wanted to do, so I might as well play along. I watched her, hiding a smile. She definitely wanted me to think of her as sexy, but it just came off as kinda cute. Maybe a little bit ridiculous, but cute. She started to remove her clothes bit by bit, and I did my best to look serious instead of amused. It became easier the more she took off.
So, are you ready?
Me? I pointed to myself for some reason. Of course she was asking me. She nodded shyly, her face now a full shade of red. I have to tell you, Peggy, I can't imagine any other way you would do this. Her eyes narrowed.
What's that supposed to mean?
It's very you, that's all. But if you don't mind... I pulled off my shirt and took her by the hand. I think I'll take you up on your offer. In a way, it was great that she made such a production of our first time together. It was my first time too, and the fact that she was so nervous ended up making me more relaxed.
Aw, look at the two of them.
Despite all the mishaps that happened, we had a great time together that night. It was klutzy on both our parts, but I couldn't have asked for a more perfect first encounter.
Ah, good grief. Well, that happened. Okay, so we're going to the beach. Oh. We're doing the parachuting date again.
I was going to die. I was definitely going to die.
And sneeze! Oh! Excuse me. I was trying so desperately to get through that sentence before the sneeze came. Anyway. Are you ready to jump?
No! No, I am not ready to jump!
That face.
Are you sure you're really certified to do this?
Of course I am! I made sure it was one of the first things I did when I turned 18. Don't even worry about it.
Don't worry about it? And you became certified at 18? There was no time for me to rethink my decision, however. I was strapped to a tandem instructor's chest and the countdown started. And we jumped. The wind rushed past my face so quickly I hardly even knew whether I was screaming. If I didn't have goggles on, I wouldn't have been able to see the ground. Instead, it was a rush of sensations. Height, wind, cold, kind of feeling like I was being slapped in the face by something, and the gear strapped to my body. Nearby, I saw a blur of red. Peggy was spinning in the air, doing backflips and front flips and 360-degree turns. She really was something else to be able to do this. It took a bit for me to come back to reality after we landed. I kept replaying what happened in my mind, my brain trying to justify what just happened. We weren't in the sky, it said. We were on an alien planet. Stupid brain.
You feeling better?
A worried Peggy strolled beside me. Of course. It was just a bit of... a bit of passing sickness. I definitely threw up until I was dry heaving upon reaching the ground, but it wasn't my fault. You can't tell me that was the first time anybody had ever thrown up upon flinging themselves outside of a moving plane.
Thank you for doing this with me. Would you believe you're the first person I've gone out with who's ever agreed to it?
I am?
Yeah, and I used to go out with all sorts of macho guys. You know, the real physically fit, big ego alpha male kind of guys. They were all sissies when it came to this, though. They didn't like that I did it either. Said it made them feel emasculated or something.
Sounds like you dated a lot of insecure men.
Huh. Well, went on dates with those men. They never made it past the first date. I can't be bothered with people like that, you know. This girl in my sixth form, she always would let people just trample all over her like that, and I had to watch her slowly become less and less of herself. It was sad. So I learned not to let the same thing happen to me.
I smiled. I'm glad you did. I was about to head into my room when Peggy grabbed my sleeve. Yes? Is something wrong?
No. But, I heard once that adrenaline does some wicked things to you, and that it makes some certain things more enjoyable.
Her face nearly matched the color of her hair. I chuckled and opened the door. After you? She barely had time to cross the room. I shut the door and instantly went after her. One thing led to another, and then we were under the covers testing out her theory. As it turned out, she was right.
Nice. Experiment success. Okay, Ninja Mark here to help us. And now we're going. I'll just skip through this. And then we'll go talk to Peggy and Danny again.
I made my way over to them. Hey guys, how are the fireworks going?
Flynn! Good to see you, but stand back. We want this to be a surprise.
Okay, sure. How long did it take you two to plan the trip? Peggy glanced at Danny, trying to figure it out.
Not very long. I came up with most of the ideas, and then Danny did whatever he did to figure out the cost. He somehow made it cost exactly as much as we'd all raised to come on this trip.
She beamed at Danny, and he gave me a look. Something told me my earlier hypothesis for how he spent the money was right. Well, thanks for going to all this trouble for all of us. No problem. I felt we needed something to commemorate that we all came together. We've been living together for months now, and once summer rolls around, we won't see each other. That's just how it is. We might as well do something as a unit and live it up while we can. Peggy bent over a firework, a lit wand in her hand.
There they go! There we go. And time for this date.
Say what? Peggy released my hand. In front of us stood a small crowd of people, maybe 30 or 40 strong, in a lopsided wooden stage. Peggy chewed her lip.
I signed us up for the best couples contest.
Why on earth would you do that?
I thought it would be fun.
Are you two couple number 3?
Peggy darted a look at me. Oh, yes, we are.
Wonderful. Please follow me.
The announcer took us back behind the stage where we met 4 other couples. One pair was making out fervently, and in another the boy kept poking the girl in the ribs and she kept slapping his hand. Only the third pair, a gay couple who were friends with the announcer, looked even relatively normal.
Now then, we want this to be as painless as possible for everybody involved, especially as it's become such a mess, so this is how it's going down. We'll bring you all out and ask you questions about your partner, which your partner will answer with a yes or no sign. If you get all of your questions right, you win a free meal from our sponsors, the fine dining establishment The Pirate's Palace. If you don't, you lose. The end. Sound good?
The announcer glanced around at all of us. The couple making out didn't even miss a beat.
Perfect. Couple number 1, you're up now.
The kissing couple pulled away from each other, making a noise like a plunger detaching from a toilet. Surprisingly, or not, they got every single question about each other right, and their portion ended with the girl literally flinging herself off the stage into the arms of her beloved. The next couple, the one that seemed to rather enjoy squabbling like siblings, got 4 of the 5 questions right. Not enough to win, but enough that they left hitting each other less than when they arrived. Finally, it was our turn. The announcer turned to Peggy.
All right, young miss. You take this sign. Green for yes, red for no. Remember to answer truthfully. This will be fun. Please welcome couple number 3, Flynn and Peggy.
A handful of people in the audience clapped lazily for us. The announcer guided Peggy to the opposite side of the stage, then made us turn our backs to each other.
All right, first question. Flynn, does Peggy like foot rubs?
Does Peggy like... what now? Foot rubs? I didn't know the answer to that. Technically, we'd been dating for a while, but we barely had any time together, as busy as she was.
I'm pretty sure it was no when we were Malia.
No?
Correct! Wonderful! Next question. Was Peggy attracted to you at first sight?
What kind of loaded question? No.
Correct! Way to go!
Ouch.
Next question. Do you, Flynn, think Peggy is feminine?
Oh, come on. These questions are borderline insulting.
Answer freely now.
Yes, of course I think Peggy is feminine.
Oh, how unfortunate. Peggy got it wrong.
What? I darted around and found Peggy shielding her face with her sign near tears. Okay, we're done with this nonsense. Goodbye.
Wait, you haven't finished the game.
I don't care about finishing your stupid game. We already lost the prize anyway. I grabbed Peggy's hand, leading her off the stage and through the crowd. A few people cheered our exit on and followed suit. We walked until the stage and its stupid announcer were out of eyesight and earshot before I stopped. That was a disaster. Peggy was crying. Oh God, Peggy was crying! What's wrong? What did I do? Did you actually want to finish the game show? Sorry, I shouldn't have run off like that.
No, that's not it. No one's ever said they thought of me as feminine before. People always tell me that I'm like one of the guys. And that I'm loud and domineering and I talk too much and I never wear a dress and...
She fell into my chest and I wrapped my arms around her.
Is it true? Do you really feel that way about me?
Of course I do, Peggy. There's nobody I can think of who cares more about people than you do. Plus, you're always bright, energetic, and carefree. You're one of the happiest people I know. I think that's feminine. That makes you feminine in my eyes. She snuggled further into my chest.
Flynn, thank you.
Let's get you inside now. What do you say? I'll take you to that restaurant, voucher or no voucher.
Can I get a donut?
Yes, you can get a donut.
Yay! Flynn, you're the best!
As if nothing had ever happened, Peggy danced down the beach. I followed closely behind, watching her twirl in the sunlight. It was an unexpected end to our day at the beach, but I didn't mind. After all, nothing went as planned when Peggy was involved.
Oh yeah, that's for sure.